Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I will explain that in a second. So I have 3 clocks, and as clocks are wont to do, wont, W-O-N-T, as opposed to want, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. And I was looking at the wrong one. I went, there's nothing like just a kind of a to catch your focus first thing in the morning. So speaking of getting focused first thing in the morning, shall we? All right. Oh, all right. I'm better now. Okay, so this is episode 473. 473 times the opening of my video has had a moment, and it's never the same moment. I'm thinking, well, good morning, Rob. I was watching you a few minutes ago. You're not the reason I'm almost late. I was watching you a few minutes ago. You're just amazing. You really are. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all shapes and sizes, if you do not know who Rob is, you need to, A, watch this video and watch the comments and see Rob. Go find him and watch his videos. It's an amazing man. Amazing man. All right. Enough of the compliments. Enough of the empty flattery. I want to talk to you about something really cool. Really cool today. Oh, sometimes, you know, when your beverage is almost too hot, but so good anyway. Good morning, Miss Maggie. How are we feeling this morning, Miss Maggie, on a scale of 1 to 10? Maggie and I were having a kvetch and moan session. And then finally we realized that we could fix that with healthy food supplements, magnesium, and what's the other thing that it has? It has something, and but the plain, ordinary, everyday terms for the magnesium and the thing is dark chocolate and red wine. You don't have to have a lot of either one, but they just kind of get you back on track. So I had a conversation with a very dear friend of mine the other day, who I'm very certain in a previous life may have lived the origins of that. You're at a 6, I'll ask you again. Okay, 6 is better than anything below that, right? You know that bull in a china shop story? Yeah. So a friend of mine has lived that existence quite often. Mine is more like a rolling train wreck, kind of a slow motion disaster that then every so often rights itself all by itself. So you can tell I'm rushing, I'm speeding here because I'm this adrenaline thing. So there we go. The theme today, hilariously, is Full Throttle, which I was just doing. Well played, universe. Well played. Full Throttle is where we are when what we have is what feels like some sort of peak. It could be a crisis. It could be the anticipation of a win. It could be just the momentum of things gathering speed on their own volition. And then all of a sudden, you can hear that small child voice going, wee, as it goes around the turn and over the cliff. And what I wanted to talk about today on this wait, what? Now what? Episode of the ABCASTs is whether we are doing our full throttle one of 2 ways, because the 2 different ways. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning. And if Freddie, if you're watching, I can't see you, but if you're watching, good morning, Freddie. We either go full throttle intense, or we go full throttle like a bottle rocket. Both are very focused. Both are very all-encompassing. You don't, in either one of those, stop to wonder if you unplug the iron, or is that a trillium growing by the side of the road? And the reason is that we are locked into something that has its own internal mechanism, its own internal momentum, and we have climbed aboard. We may have built it ourselves, or we bought a ticket. Either way, we have made that decision to climb aboard. And the intensity of the ride, the intensity of the experience is quite often an accumulation of our anticipation, of our work, of our readiness, of our not readiness, and of all the kind of factors that are gradually building steam. One of the things that Maggie and I were talking about, and we have been talking about a long time, because Maggie's project, Maggie's project is developing a way to collaborate with people to understand that technology doesn't exist by itself. It does not exist in a vacuum. Every new innovation has been human derived. How technical it has become, or how simple and primitive, is not really the point. The point is that from its origin, there is a person involved. There is the human capacity for creation out of nothing. And what we forget easily is that there is another side to the human creation out of nothing. And that is that the human is innately flawed. The human is not perfect. And therefore, by extrapolation, anything created by human also has the capacity to have imperfections, because it comes from the author. And so what we forget in our excitement, in our momentum, in our hell bent for election rush, is that there will be imperfections. There will be, wait, what? Now what? Aha moments. When we forget that those will happen, we don't have to be saying, is it now, is it now, is it now? We don't have to distract ourselves to that extent. But we do owe it to ourselves and everybody around us to remember that it's a machine, it's a piece of equipment, it's a concept, it's an inanimate object, it has self-propulsion. Doesn't matter what it is. If we created it, if we built it, there is the potential for inherent flaws because we were involved. By the same token, that we were involved in the build, in the conceptualization, in the follow-through, we are the most likely ones to spot it because all of it is of our making. We are the most likely ones to be saying, and then what we're oh my God, I didn't check. Hang on. How many times have you done that? I do that on a regular basis. I'm in the middle of saying something. You've seen me do it. I'm in the middle of saying something, and a part of my brain says, psst, remember this? And I have a zert moment. We all have those zert moments. And they are not merely our red flags. They are also our power assists to step in, step up, and correct on the fly. Because we know where the issue likely is on account of we built it, right? So Maggie and I have these conversations all the time. Maggie is working within the industry. Maggie has recognized that one of the most upsetting, I think, for everyone involved, the most common issues is when people make assumptions and then act on those assumptions as though they were fact and reliable. And then something goes wrong and they realize that they themselves were somehow involved in one of those steps down that slope. And so there is not only the delay, there's not only the inconvenience, but there's that feeling of complicit, that feeling of if only. And so one of Maggie's many jobs over the years has been to say, you know what? It's okay. If it wasn't you, it was going to be somebody else, because we're human. We do that. Now let's fix it, and let's make sure we remember where it is, because we're likely to see it again. And so she goes in, this high-tech force of nature. And then the other side of her coin is that she's the mama bear, because she's human too. And she says, believe me, if I told you what I did last week, you'd be laughing with me. And so this is what we are forgetting in our huge rush. And that is that we are innately not only human, we are innately tribal. What that means, and I talked about it, I spoke to it on Tuesday as well. And I speak about this in all of these wait, what, Pivotry recognition moments. We are innately flawed. We are innately stronger when we are together with our core, close-knit group who raised us, who walk with us, who understand our constraints, our holdbacks, who were there in those moments and say, right? I've had over the years a couple of friends. We have gone through those moments together, and there is usually a sound effect involved, or a noise, well, a noise of some kind or some visual. And all we have to do is say to each other that sound or mention that thing. And we just both dissolve into hilarity, because it was disastrous at the time. And the reason we're laughing now is we survived it. We survived it in an age when everybody takes pictures. Maybe nobody saw this one. And we need those comforts. We need those validations and those justifications that, yeah, that was an error. That was what you call an error. However, I survived it. I survived it. We survived it. And we are here to laugh about it. I say this all the time. A critic once, after watching a stage show I had done that was basically just a litany of my disasters at the time, and she said, where do you get your material? Interview after the show with the star. And I said, to tell you the truth, Iris, mostly I just wake up. Occasionally I leave the house. But really, all I have to do is be here. And ta-da, the material comes. So today I want to talk about how we choose and why we don't always choose wisely. All right, hang on a second. Okay, so I have a couple of images that I really love, that I use on Facebook when I do my posts on Facebook. And I have to get into the habit of using them when I'm posting on LinkedIn and YouTube. I keep forgetting. It's just one has become a pattern and the other I'm learning, right? So, oh, and by the way, while we're on the word LinkedIn, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all shapes and sizes, ta-da! Last week plus the week before, almost this close, 3,600 people watching us, our videos, our last 4 videos. 3,600 people. It's 1,800 and something, 1,840 the first week, and 1,680 something last week. It's working. Tell your friends on all the platforms. So here's what I put down as my pictures. One picture is a bloodhound, a scent hound, and he's on the trail of a fox. And he's completely fixated. His nose is like, inches above the ground, and his tail is up. And probably 6 inches behind him is the fox. And the fox has the same intense kind of expression. Nose isn't to the ground because he knows where the dog is. The dog is right here. Now, the thing that's fun about that, I always refer to that as opportunity, because we're looking for opportunity, and it's right there going, hello, anytime you're ready, over here. What I love about that picture for today is the intensity, the fixation on the purpose, the path, the passion, and the prize. Purpose, path, passion, prize. Are we all writing that down? I'm writing it down. Purpose, path, passion, prize. Oh, we're going to be using that again. Rob, right? Right? Eddie, right? Maggie, right? Freddie. Purpose, path, passion, prize. When we are fixated on the purpose, on the path, on our passion, on the prize, we're here. We are here. We have never been more anywhere than we are here right now in this moment, right? With those four locked on. Okay. The other kind of full throttle image is a rocket ship on the launch pad with the boosters on either side, all three locked on. And there's smoke at the bottom. Now, I love that image because while it has the same clear, focused target, when the countdown hits go, it is an explosion. It is a full release, a letting go, a forcing up and beyond. The dog and the fox can stop. The rocket cannot. And so I referred in that double image in my lead-in this morning, in my teaser this morning on Facebook, is your intensity this or that? Are you full throttle intense or full throttle go? Which one? And how they're different is the conversation we're going to have in about 15 seconds about the way our brains work. Because everything about Pivotry and motion, everything about the lion effect, everything about our growth and our thriving is predicated on the way we operate. The 15 seconds before that is going to do a brief segue to two things. One is the good, fast, cheap thing that people are talking about these days, right? You can have a thing that's good and fast. You can have it good and cheap. You can have it fast and cheap, but you can't have all three. You can only pick two, right? And this is what people are stumbling over. It's an all or nothing. And as I was typing it this morning, I realized that this is a replay. This is a reprise of a 1970s hit song, "We're Here for a Good Time, Not a Long Time." And it was done by a Canadian rock band called Trooper. You can go look it up. It's a great song. And what they're saying is, we're here for a good time, not a long time, because the sun don't shine every day. And the reason, Rhea, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's wonderful to see you. I'm so glad you joined us. If we are here, period, that's a good time. The kabillions of odds against us even being, let alone here, are astronomical. So that song in the 70s was a basically party on. You know, it's the introduction to gotta fight for your right to party. Yes, you do, if you also live in a world where you have responsibility. And so what I'm asking of us today is which one we are consciously, deliberately choosing. And the reason I'm asking it is because it is either activating one brain or all three when we do it. And my argument today is, why would you invest everything on one horse if you could have three? Why would you throw everything at one option? And by the way, it's an autopilot option when you could have full control with three engines working together for you. Why would you rely on one? And of course, it would be for the thrill seekers. Whee! The roller coaster riders. I got on a roller coaster once, and then I got off the roller coaster. And after somebody had handed me a tissue to wipe my face after I had lost my lunch, my breakfast, and 4 meals from the previous week. And I said, well, we won't be doing that again. Thanks. I'm going to go sit on something solid for a second. So here's what I'm saying. When we are excited, afraid, when we are wound up, confused, when we are uncertain, exhausted, unhappy, lost, we are in one brain. We are in a place, that brain, that ancient brain, that believes there are only two options, survival or death. It's an ancient brain. It's millions of years old. It does not know that times have changed. It has no idea that Fashion Week even exists. It is pre-verbal, so you can't tell it anything. And it's operating on patterns that formed and reformed and solidified. And the reason it uses those patterns is because they worked. And that's what survival means to that primitive brain. If something is negative, if something startles, if something disrupts the status quo, that brain is on alert. It's on fight, flight, freeze, hide. It ain't moving, or it's moving fast. It's either running away, or did you need a tissue for that bloody nose? Because it is fighting for the right to survive. Party would be later. And we have no conscious control. We have no control over it. It responds so quickly, we can't interrupt it. The other two brains, the conscious brain, the one that drives the car, the one that remembers to put pants on, the one that does all of the stuff, the creative stuff, the writing down, the idea stuff, that's the conscious brain. It's thinking, it's logical, it's creative, it works, it's ego, and it believes that it's in charge. It believes it's the one running the bus. It has no idea that 95% of the work is done back there. Not a clue. So we have emotional response, lightning fast emotional response. We have strategic response. We have clear thinking, creative thinking, all kinds of immediately brilliant ideas. And then the trifecta, the hat trick. We have a brain here. And because it's right at the front, it's not only frontal, it's prefrontal. It's right there. And that brain does three brilliant things. First of all, it is the go-between that connects the other two brains. It provides the translation. It doesn't make the conscious brain aware of the unconscious subconscious brain. It doesn't make the subconscious brain aware of the conscious brain. It links their two functions. So it's like you've got red string, green string, and the prefrontal cortex is weaving them, braiding them, crocheting them, knitting them together. And the outcome, thanks to this brain, also is strategic in its cause and effect understanding. And I say this all the time. This part of the brain helps you understand that if you're going to celebrate in some form of intoxication after you've written the exam is probably better than before. Just saying, says the prefrontal cortex. Sure, you can celebrate that you finished your year. Maybe you want to celebrate after you've written the exam, having finished your year. Just putting it out there. So where we often are, we're watching it in the news. It's happening all the time, and it's a very clever. Yes, great song, isn't it, Rhea? It's. You'll notice, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all shapes and sizes, I did not sing it. I did not sing it because I am a kind person. Also, I don't want to hear all the screaming as you run for the door. So I didn't sing it, but I'm humming it in my head. Right? I'm in it. So here's the thing. We have assumptions based on our history. We have assumptions that things are going to go this way or that way. We have a little narrative going on in our heads. In a perfect world, this. In a flawed world, that. And when we get ourselves into conversations that are either all good, all bad, that's the indication that we are leaning into the emotional push from our survive or die brain. We are not using all three brains when we say it's all this or it's all that, because life is not black and white. You go out into nature, there is no all this or all that anywhere. It's a human flawed construct. It is an idea that there should be straight lines. There's no straight lines in nature. There's no hard turns in nature. Nature has a flow. Nature has a kind of a rhythm in it. You see a jagged outcropping of a rock? Yes, the rock didn't form that way. There was an accident. Over time, that jagged rock, the wind, the weather, the abrasive sand will wear away those jagged points and smooth everything over. We've seen it over and over in pictures of ancient monuments and statues. They are not the sharp point that was originally built. Mother Nature has had her way with it because that's the way nature is. That's the way the universe is. The universe flows. So in our conversation about, in terms of full throttle, our definition today is full throttle. All right, team, let's do this. Let's go. Full throttle. I'm looking for your definition. And your definition is going to lean more heavily one way than the other, depending on how you feel, depending on where you are, and depending on what is going on around us. You know, as I said on Tuesday, one of the ways we can keep ourselves centered, keep ourselves grounded, work as our own internal rudder, is to constantly remember there are three parts of us. There is the feeling part of us, the emotional part, the sensory part. And that is controlled primarily by the subconscious brain. The ripple effect of that is what our bodies do. You know yourself. If you're tired, if you're sad, if you're confused, if you're defeated, you walk differently, you stand differently, you breathe differently. You look in the mirror, the expression on your face, everything sags, everything is downward, everything is shades of dark. When you're feeling positive, when you're feeling optimistic, when you have the sense that things are moving in a good and positive and intelligent way, your breathing is different, your posture is different, your attitude is different, the shape of your arcs that you described, the lift of your chin, the sparkle in your eyes, everything is completely different because it's positive energy. It's a growing energy, a thriving energy, as opposed to a shutting down, status quo, protection energy. And so the question, your full throttle, is it intense and strategic, or all or nothing? Are you both feet in readiness, or are you all systems ready to go? What is your definition of full throttle? Why is it important? It's important because that has no control. That is not something that's easy to contain. It's not easy to shape. It's not easy to direct. It's not easy to support and serve and shift. That kind of momentum is that riderless horse racing for the finish line. Wait a minute, your rider, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. It's not listening, can't hear you. When you find yourself face to face with someone who has lost control, has lost conscious control, has lost strategic control, has lost the clarity that comes with understanding that all the best stuff is waiting for us through that open door number 3. And as we walk through door number 3, we bring with us, we activate, we elevate this brilliant trifecta capacity that we have. We have this capacity that is unlike so many other animated creatures that we see. What is remarkable about it is not merely that we are combining the skills and the strengths and the versatility of the subconscious brain, the thinking brain, and the strategic brain, but the combination of those 3 engines of power allow us to work a miracle every day, all the time. And this miracle that I'm going to describe to you right now is why I realized that I had something I could share with people. I hadn't paid attention to the fact that I knew it. I had never paid attention to the fact that it was something that has basically been my superpower my whole life. Military kid, only child, parents with issues. I became, from time to time, as needed, various versions of me. I don't mean I was acting. I don't mean that I was wearing masks. I mean that I drew on my various different strengths in the moments when they were needed. I relied on specific abilities that I knew were there because I spent so much time analyzing, figuring out the fact that I had to navigate my life without a map, a compass, a rudder, or a guide. I was on my own. One of my very early clients, a brilliant therapist, said that if I had followed my parents' path, it would have been fatal. That I chose my own, saved my life, saved my sanity, brought me here, connected me to all of you, allowed me to be her for a while. And I think that the tragedy for so many of us is that we may know that occasionally we're like this and occasionally we're like that. We don't really spend any time wondering how we do it. It's just one of those things, you know. Somebody says, hilarious, hilarious the way you talk to the dog. Hilarious the way this happens. Hilarious when this happens. And you say, yeah, I know, right? But we don't spend any time wondering where that comes from. You know, when I was laughing with Rob, oh my gosh, Rob and I have the most amazing podcast. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I can't wait to have it up there so people can see it, Rob. We had the best time. I'm just so grateful to you. And I was saying how much fun it is and how silly it is when I do some of these live events and people see mostly it's people see the Care Bears, you know, mostly they see this little guy and they go crazy, and the other ones that I voiced, and oh my God. And so then what I do, just because I can and because it's fun, is I will talk like Friend Bear. I will talk like Friend Bear forever if you want. And part 1 on July 11th. Okay, good to know. So, you know, I'm perfectly normal talking like this, and then all of a sudden I'll say, this looks like a job for Friend Bear. He doesn't drink coffee though, so I'm the one who gets to drink all the coffee with the chocolate in it. And people lose it for a second, because I'm not making just the Friend Bear language. I'm talking like I'm me, right? Or I just slip into Valerie. Well, I don't know, dear. What do you think, Rob? Should we do that again? Lance? People, well, how do you do that? And the thing is that I go get them. This is our superpower. Every one of the reactions we've ever had in our lives that had any emotional component is stored back there in the subconscious brain. It's stored under the emotional experience. It's stored under funny, sad, fearful, you know, lost, concerned, tired. And so we have to look them up that way. But once we know where they are, we can go and get them and just step into them again on demand. Somebody says, we got a new puppy. Look, he's no bigger than my hand. And you go, oh, look at the puppy. We don't say, oh my God, look at the puppy. Because, by the way, the puppy would fall backwards off the hand. The person would say, what is wrong with you? The puppy is sleeping. Oh, sorry. We don't. Volume control's not working. We try not to do that as much as possible. The thing is, we can. Now, why this is important is that the fact that we can shift gears and present a different aspect of who we are on demand is not as exhausting as putting on a fake mask and pretending to be happy, pretending to be okay, pretending to be outgoing. That's not what I'm talking about. That's role playing, and we've all been through it. We've all said, oh dear, okay, hang on a second. Okay. And then go and take care of it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about literally stepping back into a moment we have previously lived, a mood we own. We previously lived it. We created it. We inhabited it. And it still lives there. The Valerie Prevett character on You Can't Do It on Television was designed to be a well-intentioned vaguely disoriented, fairly upbeat woman who wasn't really paying attention to many of the details of life because there are so many details of life. And she chose her battles. She picked her moments. Periodically on the show, you would see mom deliberately picking her battle, picking her moment, and then adopting in order to trick the dad or the kids or someone into falling into her trap. And it was always so much fun to do those because the kids on the show quite often would forget there was an actress making these decisions behind mom. And the audiences, the fans, the people who loved the show would say, oh my, you know what I loved? I loved when you did this. Of course, because it showed layers to this woman who was basically most of the time floating on the surface, wondering if the tide was going to change anytime soon because I'm tired of the view of this. Not realizing she could actually paddle herself to look another way. And so we are living our lives sometimes with that lack of understanding that it's our bus. We own it. We are in the driver's seat. We are one with a license. We are the qualified one. That may be scary if we don't feel that qualified, but we are the qualified one because it's our bus, it's our life. If we don't feel that way, if we don't step up, if we don't lean in, then we're giving that driver's seat and the control to someone or something else. We are allowing the tides and the winds of change to take the bus. We have given up control of the wheel and the gas and the brake. It's our bus. So when we get behind the wheel of the bus, it's not just hold on to the wheel and hit throttle. There's a lot more going on. First of all, if you've ever driven a bus, I took a bus driver training course once, and they told me that they wished me every success in whatever else I was going to do because bus driving was not going to be it. I had actually better outcomes when I learned to drive a transport truck. I don't know what it was about the bus. I think it was the way it's like once it's going, you're moving a house, right? It's not so much lean into the curves with a bus. You're basically driving a warehouse is what you're doing. So what I'm saying to us today, and it is not slowing down. So this is a great moment. We are coming up on our country's anniversary of the foundation of a great nation. You are coming up on the anniversary of the foundation of your great nation. And I love anniversaries because they give us an opportunity to look back, look forward, celebrate, and make plans. It's a benchmark coming around again, coming into the home stretch. How many laps are you doing? Another one as soon as new lap started. That's what an anniversary is. And as we are approaching it, here it is, the 23rd, 24th, I knew that. 24th, 25th. Follow me, man. I did the math. 25th. See, I have a calendar and I have, anyway. I said I have these moments where the person in charge has left the building and somebody, I forget who it was. Maggie, was it you? You said it's authentic. And I said, what a kind word. It's something. So here we are. We are 5 days away from It's a day of the week in a month. Rob is now writing all of my press releases. What day is it? Pick one. Are you here? It's the best one then. So this is what I'm talking about, and this is what I want you to think about. When you are making a decision to jump in and go for it, I want you to ask yourself, what are you going to do when you get there? What are you going to do when you get there? What are you going to do? Right? And he just, it's perfect. What are you going to do when you get there? What are you going to do when you hit the gas and turn the wheel on gravel? What are you going to do when you get there? Not now, at your destination, at the destination you thought you were aiming for. What are you going to do when you get there? There is no such thing as the happily ever after moment, because when you get there, that happily ever after moment moves ahead. Destinations are like the wet spot on the highway. As soon as you reach one, there's another one, and another one, and another one. So whatever it is you choose to do, whether you choose to go full throttle with intensity, with strategic planning, or you decide to strap on, close your eyes, and say, whee! What are you going to do when you get there? What is step 2 for you? Because we don't think about that. We don't think about outcome. We don't think about when we get off the plane. Me, kiss the ground, but that's just me. I've been on a lot of plane rides. Safe. Good. Now what? What I want to say to you today is, you're a CEO. You are a C-level CEO in your own life. You are the chief executive officer. The buck stops with you. The buck arrives with you. The buck stops with you. The buck proliferates with you. E stands for execute. You're the one who gets it done. The officer means you're in charge. I'd like to be a UCO, ultimate CEO. I think that'd be cool. What are you going to do where this decision takes you? How are you going to make the next move if you had no control over the trajectory? Because your definition of full throttle in this moment was all or nothing. How do you then make the next move if the outcome you achieved was not what you had in mind? I'm not suggesting that there aren't times that we need to go all in, all or nothing. However, what I am recommending is that if we use the gifts we have, survive, plan, strategize, what we end up with is intention. We end up with outcome that we designed. And from there, we can do it again. We can do it better. We can do it smaller. We can do whatever. When it's all or nothing. And again, there are times when all or nothing is needed. We don't have any control of the outcome. We just along for the ride. So these are decisions we get to make because, by the way, it's our bus. These are decisions we get to make every day. On Tuesday, I was saying, write down 3 things. Don't make a big long list, because then you get into the habit. It's now about the list. It's not about the purpose, right? So the purpose is giving you focus. The path is a list of steps. The passion is the outcome that works for you. And the prize is we get to do it again and again and again, right? So the 3 things that I gave you, how you feel, what's your mood, and what do you want to eat first thing tomorrow? Those are easy. How you feel is physical. What's your mood is emotional. What do you want to eat tomorrow is strategic. So I was actually talking about that brain, and that brain. That still applies. That works every time. If you have a later folder, these are mine. Rhea made her own. Maggie certainly made her own right away, right in the very beginning. Eddie uses one that's digital. Everybody comes up with their own. The concept of the later folder is that when something is important, rather than trying to carry it around along with all the other things you're trying to do, the minute something happens that's important, you take a moment, you write it down, you put a little line under it, you close the folder. Later, it says, I'm going to deal with it later. And then happily, no accident there, my folder is exactly the size of my phone, so that nobody can say to me, I wouldn't have anywhere to put it. Sure you do. Where do you put your phone? Oh yeah. Eddie says, it's in my phone. Oh yeah. So now, I promised you stories. I gave you stories, and you noticed I didn't sing the song. I did not sing the song, even though I really, really want to sing the song. Here is the simple win hack. You're not going to believe how easy it is. You ready? Okay. How to know absolutely whether you are in the physical, emotional state that is all or nothing or intense. Okay? If you're all or nothing, your breathing is here, your energy is here. You're breathing like this. And you're excited, it's tingling, everything is tingling here, everything is tingling here. You can feel it in your hands. Sometimes there's a jitter, but the big thing is if you catch yourself, you're breathing from right up here. When you're intense, everything is deep. You're breathing from your diaphragm. Everything is slowed, and everything is connected, and everything is clear. That fox, that bloodhound, that sight hound, the intensity. They were not jumping and leaping and barking. They were intense, and every move was strategic and planned. And you can feel it down in you. You can feel almost like your feet are more connected to the ground. Every step feels deliberate. So you just have to take 5 seconds. Where am I breathing? Am I tingling? Or am I poised? Am I the cat moving up on the gazelle? Or am I the gazelle exploding out of the grass? Both are full throttle. The difference is we get to choose. We get to not only choose all or nothing or intense, we can choose layers of it. I can be an intense Care Bear. I can be a full throttle mom. We have all heard her scream. And I'm not going to do that here either. I don't want to wake the neighbors. and think there's a fire. The reason I'm giving you this today is that it's our birthday coming. July is birthday month for all of us. This is the time to say, I think I'm going to do it this way. I think I'm going to start the year this way. It's not a resolution. It's a plan. It's a strategy. It's an ownership moment. It's that moment when you say, look at that. A second ago, it was not that bad. Now it's not good enough. This is our Pivotry in motion journey beginning in real time. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what the lion effect looks like when we do the training. So as I wrap up, what I want to say to you is, if you know someone, if you are that someone who feels like you just don't have the same grip you used to have, if the rudder feels wobbly, if the anchor rope doesn't feel tight, let me know. Reach out. We can have a chat. We can find out if you need to sit down with me. It's what happened with Maggie. It's what happened with Susan, Rhea, Rob, Eddie. My gosh, Eddie. We turned Eddie's trajectory for a happy life on its ear because he had slipped down a slope. And you know what actually began with Eddie, and I hope you don't mind, hon? Like all of us, coming through the pandemic when we were isolated, we kind of lost our automatic default decision-making skill. It wasn't sharp anymore. And we second-guessed a lot of stuff. And in that kind of fallback position, we all regressed to the last time we felt safe. And for most of us, the last time we felt safe was when we were with family. You know, a lot of us did theater. Working in the theater is highly addictive because it feels like family. It feels like making new friends. It feels like people you can trust because, boy, it's on the line, right? And so a lot of us regressed to the ways we behaved when we were a lot younger, when life was a lot simpler. And sometimes it worked, and most of the time it did not, and has not. And you know, that kind of regression thing, that hasn't been diagnosed. People haven't looked at that. They haven't understood that is an actual term for it, that the science is looking at it, and it is a turning point. It's a trauma. Trauma is now overused, but it's a turning point moment. And I'm going to tell you exactly what it feels like. First day of school. You know how to leave the house. You know how to get on a bus. You know how to go someplace, go to the park, go to the zoo, go to a movie. You know how to do all that. First day of school, though, felt really different. It was a scary day. Everybody made a big deal about it. So it was a really big day. And everything after that, in those initial weeks of those first days of school, we shifted and changed dramatically. Because we had now two families. We had school and we had home. Before that, we just had home. And our neighbors, our safe community. All of a sudden, there's two. And now we're juggling. Nobody taught us how to juggle. The next big turning point, puberty. Oh my goodness, puberty. Up, down, hormones, who I am, happy, sad, like you, don't, crazy, every other day. Right? Okay. The next one after that, 20, 18, leaving school, becoming a person, moving out of home. Oh my goodness. For women, dear goodness, gosh. Those hormone moments on a regular basis. COVID pandemic, 3 years in the making, is the one we all survived. It is the one that rewired all of us without our realizing it. It doesn't have a name. We can't call it puberty. We can't call it turning 30. We can't call it menopause. We can't call it first day on the job blues. We can't call it empty nest. None of those things had names either until we saw the pattern. And I'm telling you now that most of what we are all dealing with has all of those previous things in it. And our subconscious brain has logged our uncertainty about getting back into the mix right along with those things. If you're not making decisions the way you used to, if you feel a little unsettled about getting behind the wheel of the bus, I get you. The difference between us is the way I was raised. The difference between us is I see it. It doesn't mean I could immediately fix it. What it does mean is you can't fix what you can't see. So think of me as a visit to the eye clinic. If any of you wear glasses, you know you sit behind that machine and the doctor says, is this better or this or this? Well, we can do that. We can make this a perfect fit. And we can sing, we're here for a good time. Because it's a long time. We have time to fix what needs to be fixed. And we have us together, this tribe, this village, to fix it. Pretty awesome, isn't it? Okay, I'm a little long. This week has been long. I apologize if you had someplace to be. Thank you for doing this with me. You know, when it says 473 and I think 475 and oh my gosh, 500 is right around the corner. That's a milestone, guys. We are doing something amazing. And when I say we, I'm not being this, right? Without you, it's a rehearsal. With you, it's real life. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So be good to you. You deserve it. Remember to hug your loved ones because they deserve it too. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time.